The Serengeti. It's an ocean of grass baked by the sun, a chessboard where life and death play out with every move. Even the cheetah, that icon of speed, can be outmaneuvered by a troop of baboons. The lion's raw power? It sometimes bows to the sheer tenacity of a warthog. It's a place where survival hinges on the smallest decisions. I've spent years studying ecosystems, but the Serengeti, it's something else. Here, during the dry season, most creatures have sought shelter from the brutal 32 degrees Celsius heat. But a cheetah, driven by hunger, doesn't have that luxury. Rest is a privilege it simply can't afford right now. I've seen them, these magnificent predators, selecting their ambush sites with the precision of a seasoned general. The heat might make the air shimmer, but it can't obscure the vision of a creature that can spot prey from 5 kilometers away. And today, its target is a solitary warthog, just 50 meters distant. The cheetah moves with a silent grace, its thick paw pads and digitigrade stance allowing it to approach almost invisibly. The tall grass becomes its ally, concealing its slender frame, turning it into a silent ghost amidst the blinding sunlight. The gap closes to 30 meters. The cheetah has entered its kill zone. It's in this range that its legendary acceleration becomes a deadly weapon, where energy expenditure is minimized and success rates soar. In a mere 3 seconds, it explodes, reaching a speed of 96 kilometers per hour. Its stride extends to 7 meters, thanks to a spine that coils and uncoils like a spring, allowing its hind legs to reach far forward. Semi-retractable claws dig deep into the ground like spikes, providing absolute traction. But the warthog is no easy target. Its speed is only about half that of the cheetah, around 50 kilometers per hour. However, its low center of gravity allows it to corner sharply, running in a frustrating zigzag pattern. The cheetah is forced to swing its 80-centimeter long tail to maintain balance, staying glued to its prey. Then, salvation appears for the warthog, an abandoned Aardvark burrow. Most predators would surrender at this point, but perhaps hunger has eclipsed the cheetah's instincts. It has won a high-stakes gamble. The greatest risk stems from the warthog's tusks, those 25 to 50 centimeter long daggers. Warthogs rarely enter a burrow head first. Instead, they back in, their armored head and sharp tusks facing outward, acting as a solid line of defense. At that moment, the burrow becomes an impregnable fortress. Any cheetah or lion foolish enough to stick a paw or snout into that darkness faces a potentially fatal wound. Many inexperienced predators have suffered torn noses or permanent blindness attempting to breach this door of death. The warthog's upper tusks curve upwards, acting as whetstones for the lower set. Every time the mouth closes, the tusks grind against each other, creating a continuous self-sharpening mechanism. The result is a set of daggers so sharp they can slice through flesh with a mere shake of the head. And in the worst-case scenario, when no burrow for shelter, the warthog chooses the most violent solution: counterattack. A mature male warthog can weigh up to 100 kilograms, and when charging at nearly 50 kilometers per hour, that body generates terrifying kinetic energy. It is like a cannonball ramming straight into the enemy. For a slender cheetah, a bone-shattering impact is synonymous with a death sentence. But the warthog always prefers to avoid conflict with predators. They move silently through elephant grass that stands taller than their heads. The leader paves the way with its slender tail held upright at a 90-degree angle. The tuft of hair at the tip acts as a visual beacon for the others to follow. In this dense sea of grass, this signal helps the family maintain formation and prevents any member from getting separated. This discipline is a matter of survival, because in the Serengeti, danger comes not only from the lightning-fast sprints of the cheetah. Spanning over 30,000 square kilometers, this ecosystem shoulders the largest animal biomass on the planet. 4,000 lions and approximately 1,000 leopards continuously patrol to maintain order. Within that intricate food web, warthogs are biological plows. Their habit of digging for roots helps aerate the arid soil, promoting grass regeneration. Conversely, the cheetah keeps prey populations in check, culling weak and diseased genes from the herd. They are two silent warriors, each contributing to the ecosystem in their own unique way. For the warthog, Seronera is paradise, the central heart of the Serengeti. Here, vegetation remains eternally green, nourished by underground rivers flowing year-round. But this paradise comes at a steep price. Seronera is also the capital of apex predators. It is the domain of the most powerful lion prides in Africa. The lion's hunt for a warthog is a test of endurance. In theory, the lion is faster than the warthog. The king of the savanna can execute bursts of speed reaching 80 kilometers per hour. But their hearts are too small relative to their body size, and their dense muscle mass generates immense heat. As a result, they can only sprint for about 200 meters. The warthog is not naturally a long-distance athlete of the Serengeti. However, its compact body and efficient respiratory system allow it to maintain high speeds over longer distances than the lion. The endurance of the weak has defeated the explosive power of the strong, escaping the life-or-death chasers. Now is the time for the warthog to enjoy relaxation at the highest level. Near termite mounds or dense thickets, we encounter a scene that looks like it's stepped right out of a Hollywood movie. A warthog lying flat, allowing a troop of banded mongooses to climb all over its body. This image immediately brings to mind the duo Timon and Pumbaa from the classic film The Lion King. However, in the Serengeti, this is a serious and fair biological transaction, because they live their lives in mud and burrows. There's a brutal calculus at play in the Serengeti. To become the fastest creature on the planet, the cheetah had to make a deal with nature, sacrificing strength for speed. Its frame is slender, light as glass. Its claws are blunt, like track spikes, optimized for grip. It has no weapons for close combat, and its body is fragile. I've been reading about the cheetah, and it's clear. A single leg injury is a death sentence for a hunter reliant on speed. And a mother always remembers her cubs hidden nearby, knowing the baboons would show no mercy if they found them. For a warthog, even simple survival is a constant battle. Its skin becomes a magnet for parasites, ticks, fleas, lice. Invisible enemies, sucking blood and transmitting deadly diseases. Without help, a warthog's health would rapidly deteriorate. That's where the mongoose troop steps in. To them, the warthog's body is a mobile restaurant, serving a free, protein-rich buffet. They scour every fold of skin, the ears, even the eyes, to pick it clean of ticks. This symbiotic relationship is so perfect that the warthog will fall into a trance-like state of immobility to let these tiny cleaners do their work. But as the moments of relaxation fade, the brutal reality of survival instantly returns. In the bush not far away, the Serengeti's most silent predator lies in wait: the leopard. The warthog can't see the danger lurking nearby. The rosette patterns on the leopard's coat break up its outline, helping it dissolve into the dance of light and shadow. Eyes 7 times sharper than a human's are locked tight onto the victim's jugular vein. And when the gap closes to less than 5 meters, violence erupts. Unlike the lithe cheetah, the leopard's body is a massive fast twitch muscle. They prioritize lightning-fast strikes to finish prey, rather than engaging in long-distance chases. The hunt has ended, but the leopard's meal cannot yet begin. Like the cheetah, the leopard does not fear the warthog's earthen burrows. To them, these represent meals that require no energy to chase down. The leopard's collarbones are partially reduced, floating clavicles allowing them to compress their shoulders and slither into the tightest spaces. But the leopard's victory is short-lived. Even after seeking out the most secluded, hidden spot to enjoy its meal, it is not safe. This is the moment nature's harshest law is enforced. The strong take what they want. The leopard is lucky to have escaped the claws of the king of the savanna. Tea certainly regret over the unfinished meal, but the leopard is unwilling to risk its life. It knows this is a fight it cannot win. A mature male leopard weighs only about 60 to 80 kilos, while this male lion is a biological tank weighing over 200 kilos, nearly 3 times the weight of its opponent. The lion's bite force of 650 pounds per square inch can crush a rival's skull. The leopard is an agile and dexterous assassin, but in the game of brute strength, the lion dominates completely. Science calls this phenomenon kleptoparasitism. About 20% of the leopard's kills will fall into the hands of lions or hyenas. The lion stealing from smaller predators is a highly efficient, energy-saving strategy. On the southern plains of the Serengeti, lions only appear during the early months of the year, following the migration. The flat terrain, devoid of trees for cover, is not ideal for the hunting style of the savanna kings. This is the largest natural death race track on Earth. On this open stage, the cheetah is the brightest star. It is here that female cheetahs hunt Thompson's gazelle daily. The press of hunger and of naive cubs waiting for food forces the predator into a state of hyperfocus. Every failure could mark the end for this solitary hunter. Statistics in the Serengeti are grim. Only 5% of cheetah cubs survive to adulthood. Every sprint is a life or death gamble it cannot afford to lose. The cheetah must approach openly, yet cautiously. But the coverless terrain makes the predator easy to spot. The hunt explodes the moment the gazelle detects danger and bolts. A formidable quarry. Today is a lucky day. The predator and her cubs will no longer be tormented by hunger. But the cheetah cannot return to her cubs just yet. Her body temperature continues to rise. Even 20 minutes after the hunt has concluded, she is forced to rest. The cheetah is at its most vulnerable moment, And the baboons know this well. They brazenly approach the cheetah, their intent clearly visible in their canines, longer than 5 secumate, hand over the kill. Under the command of aggressive alpha males, the troop lays siege with methodical precision. The pounding on the ground, the savage screams, and the glares of ravenous hunger form a brutal psychological assault designed to break the cheetah's will. The cheetah is utterly helpless against the ferocity of the baboon troop, the Serengeti. It's not just the kingdom of the lion, nor is it simply the racetrack of the cheetah. It's a brutal, crowded hierarchy. Every ecological niche claimed by a specialized lineage of assassins. These are the apex predators, the architects of population control. For millions of years, they've kept the gears of the ecosystem turning smoothly. Forget any image you might have of cowardly scavengers from animated films. In the Serengeti, the spotted hyena is a true hunting machine, defined by its terrifying jaws. Nature has gifted them with a massive dome-shaped skull, anchoring dense blocks of jaw muscle. This allows their bite force to reach 100 pounds per square inch. That's stronger than both lions and leopards. The spotted hyena uses conical premolars to utterly destroy physical structures. They are, remarkably, the only mammal in Africa capable of crushing the long bones of buffalo or giraffe. Even their digestive system is specialized, containing high concentrations of hydrochloric acid, allowing them to break down bone, teeth, and even horn. Their meals often end with absolutely nothing left behind. It's a common misconception that hyenas are mere thieves, but long-term studies in the Serengeti have proven the opposite. Spotted hyenas hunt for 70 to 95% of the food they consume. And unlike felines, who rely on short bursts of explosive energy, the spotted hyena possesses a massive heart, constituting nearly 1% of its body weight. This allows them to maintain a speed of 60 kilometers per hour for distances of 5 to 10 kilometers. Their hunt becomes a grueling game of cat and mouse, until the prey collapses from exhaustion. But what truly makes the spotted hyena dominate the Serengeti is its incredibly complex social structure. It's an absolute matriarchy. In this kingdom, the female is king, due to a surge of androgen hormones while still in the womb. Female spotted hyenas are larger, more aggressive, and completely dominate the males. Even the lowest-ranking female holds higher authority than the highest-ranking male. Their society operates on complex political alliances, demanding social intelligence on par with primates. Neuroscientists have discovered that the hyena's frontal cortex, the area responsible for reasoning and problem-solving, is highly developed. They know how to coordinate attacks, recognize individuals by their calls, and hold grudges across generations. And when darkness falls, a manic laughter rings out. This isn't a laugh of joy. That signature sound is an information coding system. The pitch and frequency of the laugh reveal the individual's age, social status, and psychological state. Usually, that giggling is a sign of extreme stress, or the manic excitement of fighting over food. These peak emotions often stem from the eternal war with lions. And lurking on the periphery of that war for the throne is the silent figure of the African wild dog. In the Serengeti, sighting a pack of wild dogs is a rare moment. They are large predators, currently classified as endangered. They wander like exiles in their own homeland. Their scientific name, Lycaon pictus, means painted wolf. Each individual wears a unique coat of chaotic black, gold, and white patches. No two wild dogs possess the exact same pattern. But don't let that colourful, abstract art appearance deceive you. This is a disruptive camouflage design, helping them dissolve into the dappled light and shadow of the bush. They monitor their surroundings with massive rounded ears that act as satellite dishes, receiving sound signals from afar. A masterpiece of evolutionary engineering. Noiseless they may be, but African wild dogs are the true assassins of the savanna. Lions hunt with a success rate of only about 25 to 30%, but the African wild dog succeeds up to 85% of the time. Once the pack decides to give chase, the prey's death warrant is practically signed. Discipline and endurance are the keys to the African wild dog's success. They enter the hunt at speeds of 60 kilometers per hour. The entire formation maintains that velocity for an absurdly long time. They take turns leading. When one tires, another moves up to take its place, creating a relay running machine that never stops. The prey does not die from wounds, but from sheer exhaustion, and death comes very quickly. African wild dogs eat with impressive speed. They take only a few minutes to consume their prey, ensuring they finish before lions can arrive to steal it. However, the brutality shown during the hunt stands in stark contrast to the incredible tenderness of their social life. Within the pack, altruism is the supreme law. After a successful hunt, the adults will bring food back to the den, where the pups, the elderly, or the injured are waiting. No fighting over food. Pups are always given priority to eat first. Even a dog with a broken leg, unable to hunt, will be fed and nurtured by the pack. The tragedy of the African wild dog? It stems from their nomadic lifestyle. Because they're relatively small, they can't defend a fixed territory against lions or hyenas. Their only option is to keep moving, their home range spanning thousands of kilometers. But the Serengeti is shrinking due to human encroachment and climate change. With nowhere left to run, these splendid ghosts are slowly fading. An unfillable void is gradually appearing in the wild portrait of Africa. But if you look closely into the tall grass, you'll find another tiny assassin, the serval. It's a small cat, almost comically perched on the legs of an antelope, like a design error. But it's actually a biological marvel, perfectly optimized for hunting invisible prey. The serval has the longest legs relative to its body size of any cat. They act as biological stilts, elevating its body above the ground, allowing it to move lightly and peer over the dense elephant grass that other cats can't see through. And those two giant oval ears. They function like parabolic dishes, rotating independently 180 degrees, scanning the environment for ultrasonic frequencies, sounds the human ear can't even register. In that dense grass, vision is almost useless. The serval hunts by sound, standing as still as a statue, ears constantly rotating and adjusting. It's performing audio triangulation, pinpointing the exact location of a mouse moving under thick grass meters away. Once the target is locked, the serval executes its signature strike. It compresses its body and launches vertically into the air. This rainbow arc jump can reach 2 to 3 meters before crashing down like an air-to-ground missile. The serval throws its entire body weight onto its front paws to deliver a stunning blow to the prey. The impact force alone is enough to kill or knock the rodent unconscious instantly, before it even knows what happened. The efficiency of this hunting machine is statistically shocking. The serval achieves a kill rate of up to 50%. For every 2 attempts, 1 creature loses its life. That's the highest success rate among wildcats in Africa. However, the competitive prez in the Serengeti has forced the serval to alter its behavior in a spectacular way. By instinct, cats are nocturnal. But here, the night belongs to brutal prides of lions and clans of hyenas. To avoid running into these bullies, the serval has shifted its biological clock, becoming a diurnal predator. They hunt while the lions sleep, exploiting a time slot to monopolize the food source. And that food source plays a vital role in the health of the savanna. Each serval consumes thousands of mice and rodents every year. Without this pest control squad, the rodent population would explode, devastating grassroots and seeds. The Serengeti would risk losing the green in its ecological portrait. In a world of giants, small creatures like the serval need either invisible speed or insane recklessness to survive. And the black-backed jackal? It chooses the second option. Don't let their modest size deceive you. These aren't passive scavengers waiting on the sidelines. They're the most audacious street robbers of the Serengeti, daring enough to challenge death to snatch morsels of meat right from the mouth of the Lion King. This behavior is known as active kleptoparasitism. When a pride of lions is tearing into a kill, the black-backed jackal doesn't flee. On the contrary, they rush in with terrifying aggression. It's a display of cold calculation and nerves of steel. They operate in pairs or small groups, using a methodical diversionary tactic. One will run around, barking loudly, and even nipping at the lion's tail or hind legs to draw attention. When the lion turns to growl in fury, the second jackal flashes in like lightning, grabs a chunk of meat, and vanishes into the bush. It's a dance with death that the black-backed jackal has memorized every step of. The distance between a full belly and a neck-snapping slap from a lion is measured in millimeters. But the black-backed jackal rarely loses. They're too fast, too agile, and understand the psychology of their larger predators too well. However, that aggression on the battlefield hides a model family life that is rare in the animal kingdom. Black-backed jackals are faithful romantics. They practice lifelong monogamy. A couple will defend territory together, hunt together, and grow old together. But the true miracle lies in how they raise their young. The black-backed jackal applies the helpers at the den strategy. When a new litter is born, the offspring from the previous litter choose to stay. They accept the sacrifice of their own breeding opportunities for a year to help their parents raise their younger siblings. It's a genetic investment strategy. The Serengeti has an extremely high mortality rate for pups due to other predators. The presence of these nanny siblings, guarding the den and bringing back food, increases the survival rate of the litter manifold. The black-backed jackal family operates like a closed, disciplined military unit. And finally, the secret weapon that helps them thrive while others decline is a superior immune system. The Serengeti is a hotbed of disease. Distemper and rabies frequently sweep across the savanna like storms of death. These outbreaks have wiped out entire packs of African wild dogs and lions. But not the black-backed jackal. Their bodies possess an incredible natural resistance. They survive pandemics that kill their larger competitors. They are the ultimate survivors, tenacious creatures. The Nile crocodile. It's a creature that has existed since the time of the dinosaurs. And in all that time, its biological design has hardly needed to change. When I think about that, I'm reminded how perfection in nature is a testament to enduring power. The Serengeti, though, if it's a battlefield, then the Grumeti and Mara rivers are the deadly gauntlets that lie within it. Hidden beneath those murky waters is this most patient predator on Earth, the Nile crocodile. When the dry season arrives and the rivers recede, these crocodiles slow their heart rate to almost nothing. They can hold their breath underwater for up to 2 hours in an active state, and up to 8 hours while resting. They transform into inanimate logs, patiently awaiting the Great Migration, when millions of wildebeest and zebras are forced to cross the river. That's when the Nile crocodile strikes. Their snap is a masterpiece of hydraulics. Their jaws generate a bite force of up to 5,000 pounds per square inch, 5 times stronger than a hyena, 8 times stronger than a lion. It's like dropping a small truck onto the prey's body. Once those conical teeth lock tight, nothing can escape. But crocodile teeth can't cut or chew, so they tear flesh using pure physics. This is where the death roll comes in. The crocodile clamps down on its prey and rolls its body along its longitudinal axis at dizzying speeds. This terrifying torque allows them to easily dismember their prey. It's horrifying, but it's the only effective feeding method for them. After swallowing massive chunks of meat, the Nile crocodile activates another secret weapon, a superacid digestive system. Their stomachs secrete acid with a record low pH, strong enough to dissolve not just meat, but bone, horn, hooves, and even steel. This mechanism allows them to absorb 100% of the nutrients from their prey, which helps them survive for months without food. The life of this cold-blooded creature depends entirely on the sun. On scorching Serengeti afternoons, you'll see these monsters lying on the riverbank with mouths gaping wide. This behavior is called gaping. This menacing-looking action is actually how they cool down. The Nile crocodile has no sweat glands, so by opening their mouths, they allow heat to escape through the moist mucous membranes, like a heat exhaust vent. But perhaps the biggest surprise about this cold-blooded assassin lies in the mother's heart. The Nile crocodile is one of the rare reptiles to exhibit profound maternal love. After laying eggs in sand pits along the river, the mother will fast and guard the nest for 3 full months. She resolutely protects her unborn brood against egg thieves like monitor lizards or baboons. When the eggs hatch, the mother's jaws, with their terrifying bite force, become surprisingly gentle. She uses those very jaws to gently scoop up each tiny hatchling and release them safely into the water. The tenderness of this monster is a beautiful paradox. It's a reminder that in the wild, brutality and love always walk side by side to sustain life. The ecological tapestry of the Serengeti is not woven by predators alone. The landscape continuously reshaped by the impact of giant grazing machines. the African bush elephants. We call them the architects. Without them, the Serengeti ecosystem we know today would collapse, vanishing beneath impenetrable thorny thickets. They survive in the Serengeti without the need for fangs or claws. Standing 4 meters tall and weighing up to 6 tons, they are massive living walls. Even the fiercest predators must tread carefully before such a colossal stature. Scientists call them a keystone species. If elephants were removed, the Serengeti would collapse. To maintain that massive muscle mass, an adult elephant must consume up to 300 kilos of vegetation daily. In the process of eating, they act as heavy demolition machines. They topple trees, snap large branches, and trample thickets. By preventing vegetation from growing too dense, the African bush elephant stops the savanna from turning into a closed forest. They tear open spaces, allowing sunlight to reach the ground so grass can grow. This is a precious food source for millions of antelopes and zebras. Without elephants, there would be no vast open plains for the cheetah to sprint. In the dry season, when rivers turn to dust, African bush elephants become hydraulic engineers. Using their tusks and dexterous trunks, they dig deep holes in dry riverbeds to seek out underground aquifers. These elephant wells are the only lifeline for the entire animal community. After the elephants finish drinking, lions, hyenas, and even small birds finally get a chance to access this precious water source. Anatomically, the African bush elephant possesses 2 unique evolutionary tools, the tusks and the flexible trunk. Tusks are actually elongated incisors that grow continuously throughout life. They are crowbars for digging roots, weapons for combat, and tools for stripping baobab bark. Meanwhile, the trunk is a marvel of biological engineering. With not a single bone, the trunk is composed of over 40,000 separate muscle fascicles. It is strong enough to lift a 300-kilogram tree trunk, yet the tip is delicate enough to pick up a tiny grass seed. But physical strength is only half the story. The African bush elephant rules the Serengeti through wisdom and connection. Elephant society is a strict matriarchy. The herd is led by the oldest female, the matriarch. She is not the strongest, but she is the living library of the herd. The African bush elephant's brain has a massively developed temporal lobe, where spatial memories are stored. The matriarch remembers the exact. The matriarch elephant holds a map in her mind, a memory of every waterhole, every safe route she's followed over her 60 years. During droughts, this becomes the survival guide for her entire clan. I find it remarkable how they communicate in ways we can't even hear. African bush elephants use infrasound, sounds with ultra-low frequencies below 20 Hz. These sound waves travel for dozens of kilometers, penetrating forests and hilly terrain. Even more amazing, they seem to hear with their feet. The fatty pads beneath their feet contain sensitive receptors, allowing them to feel seismic vibrations from the ground. A herd can detect the footsteps of another herd, or sense danger from 10 kilometers away. They're operating an underground internet in a way. The African bush elephant also possesses an emotional life as complex as our own. They know grief. I've read that when passing the bones of a deceased relative, the whole herd will stop. They gently touch the skull and tusks with their trunks, silent and solemn. In the wild Serengeti, the elephant embodies memory, wisdom, and perhaps the soul of the continent itself. Then there's the retina pool in the heart of Seronera. From a distance, it looks like a pile of giant grey boulders resting silently in the muddy river. But as you get closer, the stench and low growls reveal the truth. Hundreds of hippos packed together, creating what's known as hippo soup. The hippopotamus is one of the most misunderstood creatures. They look rotund, slow, and comical, but they are truly the most aggressive amphibious tanks. Hippos can't swim, despite spending most of their lives in the water. Their bones are solid, causing them to sink immediately. Instead of swimming like fish, they gallop along the riverbed, moving like astronauts in a low-gravity environment, using the water's buoyancy to execute graceful bounds, despite weighing up to 3 tons. Their dependence on water comes from their sensitive skin. Under the ultraviolet rays of the Serengeti, hippo skin would crack and dehydrate in minutes. To cope, nature has given them a unique sunscreen. If you look closely, you'll see red, blood-like droplets oozing from their skin. This is blood sweat, a mucus secretion containing acidic pigments. This compound acts as a sunscreen, absorbing UV rays, and also as a powerful antiseptic. It protects the hippo from infection in murky waters teeming with bacteria and feces. But the real danger of the hippo lies not in its skin, but in its mouth. At Retina Pool, you often see hippos opening their mouths wide. That's the threat yawn. A hippo can open its jaws to 150 degrees, displaying lower canines up to 50 centimeters long, sharp as razors, and hard as ivory. This is the final warning. If ignored, the hippo will attack with a bite force nearing 2,000 pounds per square inch. They can snap a crocodile in two or crush a small boat. They are the deadliest large mammal in Africa. The hippo of the day and the hippo of the night seem to be two different creatures. By day, they are social beings, gathering in the water to cool off and conserve energy. But when the sun sets, the hippo leaves the water, becoming solitary and sullen. In the dark, they follow familiar paths, known as hippo highways, to graze. A single hippo can walk 10 kilometers and consume 40 kilos of grass every night. Their role as ecological engineers lies in nutrient transport. They graze on land and defecate in the water. Tons of this organic matter nourish the aquatic ecosystem, feeding fish and insects, sustaining the life of the entire river. And finally, their relationship with the Nile crocodile is a tense peace treaty. You often see crocodiles sunbathing on the backs of hippos. That is respect rooted in fear. The crocodile knows its limits. An adult crocodile may be the king of the river, but against a furious male hippo defending his territory, the crocodile is merely a brittle twig. In these waters, size and madness are the law, and the hippo is the supreme judge. If the Serengeti is a colossal living organism, then the wildebeest is the hot blood flowing ceaselessly through its veins. They are the heartbeat that shapes the rhythm of the entire ecosystem. With a population of up to 1.5 million, wildebeest constitute the largest animal biomass on the savanna. Viewed from above, their migrating army looks like a river of black ink surging through a sea of golden grass, an unstoppable force of nature. Their first role is that of biological lawnmowers. Wildebeest possess broad muzzles, designed to graze on the short, nutritious young grass close to the ground. Every day, this army consumes over 4,000 tons of grass. This large-scale grazing stimulates the grass to grow back faster and stronger. Simultaneously, they deposit about 500 tons of dung daily, a massive amount of fertilizer that helps regenerate nutrients for the arid soil. Without the wildebeest, the Serengeti grasslands would become overgrown, dry out, and become prone to fires, shattering the food chain at its roots. But the true miracle of this odd-looking creature lies in its swarm intelligence. The wildebeest has no leader. No alpha gives the orders. Instead, they operate as a superorganism. Every movement decision is based on crowd consensus and the instinct to seek rain. They can smell moisture and phosphorus in young grass from 50 kilometers away. When one starts running toward the rain, millions follow. This chaotic movement is, in reality, a perfect survival algorithm. In a crowd of millions, the probability of an individual being eaten by a lion drops to the absolute minimum. Imagine witnessing a synchronized birthing event, a mathematical miracle unfolding on the volcanic plains. It happens every February, a surge of new life as around 500,000 wildebeest calves are born within just 3 weeks. That's something like 8,000 births a day. It's a survival strategy, a deliberate flooding of the savanna with prey. Lions, leopards, hyenas, wild dogs. They feast until they can eat no more. But even with their frantic hunting, they can't consume such a massive number of calves in such a short span. The result is that most of the new generation makes it through the most dangerous time of their lives. And these calves, they're biological marvels, genetically programmed to flee almost from the moment they're born. A newborn wildebeest can stand within 7 minutes, and in 20, it can run with the herd. The wildebeest, they transform individual weakness into the strength of the collective. They are, in a way, the very soul of the Serengeti. Now, if the wildebeest are the diligent workers of this land, then the plain zebras are its courageous pioneers. They're always the first to venture into the tallest, densest grasses. This pathfinder role, it comes from their unique digestive system. Unlike the wildebeest, who need young grass, zebras can digest old, tough, nutrient-poor grasses. They clear the surface layer, revealing the tender green shoots beneath. But it's their stripes, that black and white coat, that remains one of evolution's great mysteries. It's thought these stripes create a motion dazzle effect. When thousands of zebras move together, the stripes blend, creating a chaotic optical illusion. For a lion, who relies on locking onto a single individual, it's like looking at static on a screen. They can't tell head from tail, where one zebra ends and another begins. Recent research even suggests that zebra stripes act as a shield against tsetse flies and horseflies. The light reflecting off the stripes disrupts the insect's navigation, making it hard for them to land. In an ecosystem filled with pathogens, it's like the most advanced biological hazmat suit. Beneath that striped uniform, there's a tight social structure. They don't live in a disorganized mob, but in harems, with a dominant male, several females, and their foals. When lions attack, the male often runs at the rear or breaks away to distract the enemy, giving his family a chance to escape. And their rear kick? It's legendary. A zebra's kick can generate nearly 3,000 pounds per square inch, enough to shatter a lion's jaw or break a hyena's ribs. Even when they sleep, the plains zebras are vigilant. They have this stay apparatus in their legs that allows them to sleep standing up without using energy to maintain muscle balance. This means they can switch from sleep to a full sprint in a split second if an alarm sounds. And to optimize their defense, the plains zebra has formed a strategic alliance with the ostrich. It's a perfect fusion of senses. Zebras have sensitive smell and hearing, but limited low-level vision. Ostriches have keen eyes and a height advantage, acting as a mobile observation tower, but a poor sense of smell. Together, they form a comprehensive early warning radar system. If the ostrich starts running, the zebra follows without question. If the zebra stops to sniff the wind and looks anxious, the ostrich immediately goes on high alert. This interspecies cooperation makes them tough targets for any predator looking for the element of surprise. Then, in the Mongooses area, where ancient granite boulders rise like fortresses, there's a living relic from the prehistoric era. A creature designed to endure, to fight, to destroy. The black rhinoceros. Perhaps a more accurate name would be the hooked-lip rhinoceros. That pointed, flexible upper lip. It's a marvel. It acts like a prehensile finger, allowing the black rhinoceros to perform surgical operations on thorny bushes. Their favorite food is the whistling thorn, a plant armed with 7-centimeter long thorns, hard as steel and sharp as hypodermic needles. Any other animal would suffer a shredded mouth, but not the black rhinoceros. Their lip skin is as thick as rubber, and with precise muscle control, they deftly weave through the thorns to reach the nutritious young leaves. Sometimes they simply crush the thorns with their powerful jaws. But the black rhinoceros is most famous for its short temper. It's the most solitary, suspicious, and easily provoked animal in the Serengeti. A mature black rhinoceros weighs about 1.4 tons, a block of armored muscle. When it feels threatened, it doesn't run away. It seeks to eliminate the threat. From a standstill, this tank can accelerate to 55 kilometers per hour. The kinetic energy it generates in a charge is equivalent to a small truck hitting a wall at high speed. Lions or buffalo standing in its path will be tossed aside or punctured by that front horn. This aggression, it stems from the black rhinoceros's eyesight. Their vision is only effective within 30 meters. To them, the visual world is a collection of blurry, threatening shapes. They can't clearly distinguish whether the shadow ahead is a tree, a lion, or a vehicle. So they often launch a preemptive strike. It's aggression born of fear. To compensate for their poor eyesight, the black rhinoceros relies on its hearing and smell. The black rhinoceros sees the world through smell. That's a thought that stayed with me long after I first encountered it. To imagine navigating life through scent, constructing a complex olfactory map. They mark their territory with dung middens and urine, building this map of borders, rivals, and potential mates across the Serengeti. Here, in the Mongooses, the black rhinoceros has its last stronghold. The rugged, rocky terrain offers cover, keeping them hidden from poachers. They are ancient tenacity embodied, a powerful, if somewhat blind, fighting machine, reminding us that weakness has no place here. But if you want to talk about pure rage in the Serengeti, you have to turn to the African buffalo. Professional hunters call them the Black Death, or the Widowmaker. Their defining weapon is that massive set of horns, curved like two hooks. But the most terrifying feature? That's the boss, at the base of the horns. In mature males, the horn bases grow and fuse right on top of their heads, forming a solid bone shield up to 30 centimeters thick. I've read accounts of this natural helmet deflecting a close-range rifle bullet, or a full-force slap from a lion, without a scratch. When they attack, they use that boss like a sledgehammer, fracturing ribs. Then, those sharp horn tips hook and toss their opponent into the air. The society of the African buffalo is divided into two opposing worlds. First, you have the breeding herds, sometimes numbering up to 1,000 individuals. A mobile fortress, really, operated by what scientists call crowd intelligence. It's fascinating, this strange voting mechanism they've discovered. When resting, adult females will lie facing the direction they want to go. The direction with the most votes becomes the herd's path. This consensus helps them find the best pastures and safest water sources with astonishing accuracy. Then there are the outcasts, the dagger boys. Old males, past their prime, defeated and expelled from the herd by younger rivals. No longer protected, they cluster in small groups, wallowing in mud to cool off and treat parasites. But don't underestimate them. These dagger boys, they're the most dangerous. They're ready to launch a preemptive strike against anything that invades their space, lion or human. However, the African buffalo's ferocity is perhaps clearest in their mobbing tactic. They're the only herbivores in Africa that actively hunt down predators. When they hear the distress call of a calf caught by a lion, the herd doesn't flee. They counterattack. Hundreds of tons of meat and horn charge forward like a tsunami. They surround the lions, cutting off escape routes, driving the king of the savanna up a tree, or even trampling them under their hooves. In the Serengeti, lions kill buffalo for food, but buffalo kill lions out of hatred. And if you ever face a buffalo, you'll experience the stare. They stop eating, lift their heads, wet nostrils flaring, smelling your fear. Black eyes lock onto you with cold contempt, calculating distance, assessing the threat, weighing whether to turn you into dust. In that moment, you understand why no animal, including humans, wants to mess with the Black Death. Then there's the Maasai giraffe, towering at 5.5 meters, like a 2-story building. The tallest animal on the planet. The living watchtowers of the Serengeti. You can distinguish them by their dark brown spots with jagged edges, like grape or oak leaves, different from the neat polygonal patches of their northern cousins, the reticulated giraffe. Their greatest physical challenge is pumping blood to a brain located 2.5 meters above the heart. To do that, their heart is a supercharged engine, weighing up to 11 kilograms, with ventricular walls 8 centimeters thick. It has to generate blood press 2.5 times higher than a human's. And when they lower their heads to drink, the gravity-driven blood press rushing to the brain is strong enough to burst blood vessels. To prevent that, their neck vein system contains a complex network of one-way valves, and a structure called the rete mirabile, acting as a shock absorber, controlling the flow, preventing death by brain hemorrhage. Every time they bend down to drink, they're really performing a delicate balancing act. The Maasai giraffe is also an arboreal surgeon. Their favourite food is the leaves of the acacia tree, protected by long, sharp thorns. Their tool? A tongue reaching up to 50 centimetres long. Muscular, as flexible as a finger, and covered in a thick, glue-like saliva that coats the thorns, helping them swallow without tearing their esophagus. And that tongue is purple-black or blue-black. They spend 12 hours a day sticking their tongue out under the equatorial sun, so that dense concentration of melanin acts as a biological sunscreen, preventing UV rays from burning the soft tissue. But the life of a Maasai giraffe isn't always peaceful. Males often engage in brutal battles called necking. Two males stand parallel, swinging their 2-metre-long necks like demolition cranes. The head, armed with rock-hard ossicones, becomes a wrecking ball aimed at the opponent's ribs. The force can fracture ribs, shatter jaws, knock the opponent unconscious. The winner gains mating rights. The loser leaves with injuries that may lead to death. Even the birth of a Maasai giraffe begins with a traumatic shock. The mother gives birth standing up, meaning the calf's first moment is a long drop to the earth. The world of a newborn giraffe is a free fall, a fall from 2 metres onto hard ground. It looks cruel, yes, but that strong impact is necessary, tearing the amniotic sac, severing the umbilical cord, shocking the lungs so they take their first breath. In the Serengeti, a calf must stand and run within 30 minutes, or it becomes a meal for lions or hyenas lurking nearby. With eyes the size of golf balls and 360-degree vision from a superior vantage point, the Maasai giraffe acts as an early warning system for the entire plain. When zebras or antelopes see the giraffe start to run, they know not to ask why. They simply follow. Trust in this living watchtower is one of the most fundamental rules of survival here. From the scattered rocky outcrops around the Mopane woodlands, a sound rings out, loud and decisive, breaking the silence of early morning. It's the call of the Cape baboon, one of the largest, smartest, and most socially organized primates in southern Africa. They start their day with confidence and commotion, as if this land is their well-known domain, where every step has already been mapped out in their minds. In the Luangwa Valley, chacma baboons are commonly found around rocky highlands, forest edges, and buffer zones near the river. Adult males can weigh up to 40 kilograms and measure over 1.2 meters in length, nearly 3 times the average weight of a female. Their fur ranges from brownish grey to ash grey, sometimes with a thicker mane around the neck, helping them blend easily into the dusty red terrain, rocky outcrops, and short grasslands. They live in troops ranging from 20 to 80 individuals, led by a dominant male who takes on the role of guiding movement, offering protection, and maintaining order. This social structure is highly flexible, held together through behaviours like grooming, food sharing, and caring for the young. These strong social bonds not only help the troop stay united when faced with predators, but also foster a community with a remarkable capacity for learning and adaptation. As true omnivores, chacma baboons consume nearly anything digestible in their environment, from grasses, roots, fruits, and tender leaves to seeds, insects, bird eggs, and small animals like lizards, mice, and nestlings. Their flexibility in food choices is one of the key factors that allows them to thrive across a wide range of habitats, from open woodlands to semi-deserts, and even mountainous regions. In central Luangwa, they often track the seasonal changes of available resources, especially fruiting trees along the Luangwa River or near wetlands during the rainy season. When the dry season arrives, baboon troops retreat to higher ground areas with clear vantage points and rugged terrain that help them steer clear of predators like leopards. Though they are prey animals, chacma baboons have been observed coordinating group responses for defense, especially when their young are under threat. Cape baboons use more than 30 distinct vocalizations, combined with facial expressions and body postures, to signal warnings, coordinate movement, or express emotion within the troop. Behavioral studies by the Wildlife Conservation Society during the 2023 to 2024 period confirmed that the body language of chacma baboons can shift depending on social context, terrain, and the relationships between individuals in the group. Their communication abilities are considered among the most complex of any non-human primate species. This challenge becomes even more daunting in the modern era, as the Serengeti faces immense mounting press. The first and most devastating threat is climate change. The engine that drives life the rain, but that engine is beginning to falter. Meteorological data from 2020 to the present reveals that rainfall cycles are becoming chaotic and unpredictable. Droughts are lasting longer and becoming more intense. The Mara River is witnessing water levels drop to historic lows due to upstream deforestation and excessive evaporation. If the Mara River runs dry, the Great Migration will collapse. Millions of antelopes will die of thirst before reaching the green pastures, triggering the demise of the predators that depend on them. The second threat comes from human prey. Populations in the buffer zones surrounding the Serengeti have quadrupled in just a few decades. The encroachment of agriculture and livestock grazing is choking off ancient migration corridors. Human-wildlife conflict is reaching a boiling point, and in the shadows, another silent war is being waged: snare poaching. With no noisy gunfire, poachers use thousands of wire snares fashioned from motorcycle brake cables. These are invisible assassins. According to reports from the Frankfurt Zoological Society, patrol teams remove thousands of these traps every year. These snares do not discriminate. From antelope and zebra to lions, leopards, and elephants, all can become victims, suffering a slow, agonizing death. The Serengeti is no longer an isolated island of creation. It is buckling under the weight of human development. However, the hope to save the Serengeti remains unbroken. The battle to protect the Serengeti has entered a high-tech era. Tanzanian National Parks authorities are implementing unprecedented protection measures. Drones and surveillance camera systems are deployed to root out poaching camps deep within the bush. GPS tracking collars are fitted onto large animals like elephants, lions, and black rhinos. These allow scientists to monitor population movements in real time and intervene immediately if an animal enters a danger zone. The desnaring program is delivering tangible results. Thanks to international cooperation, specialized anti-snaring teams successfully rescue hundreds of animals each year, returning them to the wild. More importantly, conservation strategy is shifting towards the community. Ecotourism is becoming the Serengeti. It's more than just a park in Africa. It's about preserving the memory of humanity itself. It's the final living testament to Earth in its primeval state. I've often thought about what it must have been like to stand there, to truly hear the wild heartbeat of this planet, thundering through the hooves of millions of migrating creatures. What I find so remarkable is how true conservation becomes sustainable when a living lion brings economic value 100 times greater than the skin of a dead one. Local people, once potential poachers, are transformed and become the most ardent guardians of the land, because now it's a primary source of income for them.